So just to give you all a bit of disclaimer, there's no central topic other than filling you guys in on the last few years leading up to turning 40. And I more so just want to share everything I learned. I'm talking about, the good experiences I had and the bad experiences I had, and share what I learned from it. It might help someone. So just to piggyback on part one, hopefully you check that out. The year is 2022. I moved to Atlanta. Like I said, there was nothing tying me down to my hometown of Macon, Georgia. So I moved up to Atlanta, and oddly enough, when I decided to leave, some details I got to give y'all because there may be a lesson in it or something I learned. When I decided to leave, I had a good job. I had two jobs. When I decided to leave Macon, Georgia, I had a part-time job and a full-time job. At my full-time job, I was making, when I left at my full-time job, I was making $15 an hour, which is not that much. I actually had another full-time right before that, making like $22 out at Frito-Lay, out in Perry, Kathleen, Warner Robinson area, if you're familiar. But the hours weren't consistent. It was a full-time job, but some days you come in, you might work 5 hours. Some days you might come in and work 12. So I got tired of the inconsistent hours. Some weeks you're going to get 40. Some weeks you might end up with 32. You know what I'm saying? So I left and went to Five Below Warehouse in Forsyth, Georgia, making. Now some people are going to be like, you left $22 to go make $15. For me, it was more so about predictability and stability. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I was going to go to Five Below and get my standard 40. I knew I was going to work. At the time, they only had day shifts. So I knew it was going to be a day shift, Monday through Friday, and I knew I was going to get my 40, And if it was certain days that we were required to work overtime, they told us in advance. So there were a lot of pros to the job outside of the pay. Anyway, I also worked for a freight company part-time. Basically, I would get off from my full-time and go straight to my part-time as a dock worker at Saya Freight. At the time, they were on the south side. They've since moved to the east side, out near Geico, if you're familiar with the area. They had a new terminal built. So, but I'm at Saya, and at the time, I stayed on the south side, literally almost the same street as the terminal. So I stayed like